How happy do you think Lauren was when she came up with the name Stafford Infection?
She was probably pretty pumped.
I would say it probably influenced her pick.
Probs, my gobs.
All right,
We're live. Coming at ya.
You are looking live.
Tony, you running the social meds?
Yeah, you should run social medias.
I'll run the comments.
Yeah, the comments.
Yeah. You'll be like that guy on PTI.
Yeah, make something good.
Who's tossing for the Astros?
I forget.
Who's the hurler?
Wow.
Don't.
I can't wait for this to be on the live stream.
Don't.
Wow.
Jesus, you got this?
He's got his whole
Really not as heavy as it
Yeah, but you got your whole
You're
your
very weak.
You got your whole airplane set up over there. You don't want to nudge it.
I'm very weak.
Weak AF.
You want to kick it off, or do you want me to do it?
Don't start yet.
Yeah, we haven't even.
No, not
set
yet.
up.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Don't.
You got it,
He
Aaron.
hasn't even pulled up my PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah.
You can't
He hasn't.
forget to cue
He hasn't
that
pulled up my PowerPoint. Oh yeah, he did. It's over there.
Avoid spoilers and all.
Did
Yeah.
Michigan just pick that off? Those fucking assholes.
What dickwads?
Tony, is the reason your background just a bunch of random water because this is the way you want to die? Just alone at sea. Just drown yourself.
I can't believe you picked up on that. That's
Very subtle.
No, it's
That's supposed to be centered. Oh, your Mac
Careful.
probably fucked up the
Careful.
format
this
of my
is
shit.
not a Mac, all right?
Careful.
Austin, that looks like some good work, man.
Thanks, man. I literally spent over an hour on it. I was bored.
I should have been doing some homework today. I did a lot of homework today. I should have been doing more, and I didn't.
That didn't work.
It's bullshit.
Man, I'm not looking. I don't want anybody saying that there's some sort of collusion, because after my pick last week, I'm sure there's some skeptical folks.
Yeah, I heard about this pick. I didn't witness it.
Out of nowhere.
Got my coupons?
I forgot him again. Forgot him again.
Sounds like
Bad
it's
friend.
double in each. After my pick last week, I'm sure there's some skeptical folks. That was a nice voice.
Pop, pop.
Maybe reference?
Yep.
Pop.
Is the game frozen?
Yeah, it's
I was gonna say.
frozen AF.
Told you your grandma's good.
Switching stream to
What?
Auburn. What the
Excuse
fuck?
you.
Why?
Some dude just typing this shit out, like running this shit.
Isn't it interesting how you can get better quality from some fucking guy in the middle of nowhere than actual, like, paying for shit?
Oh, here we go. Fucking prick.
Look at CC, man.
Oh my god.
That is a beer gun.
Guys, he's not quite as good as Bartolo Colon, but he's still pretty good.
He's about to have a blow-up game.
If we make fun of him too much, he'll quit for being good.
That's true.
Wow. Bad call first pitch of the game.
He's gonna give up 6 runs in the first couple innings, man. He's nothing but garbage. He's old.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, he's veteran, which means that he's not that good anymore. Just watch.
Wow, Kentucky got steamrolled 45-7 today against Mississippi State. Kentucky was in contention in SEC East.
I was gonna say they're getting better.
Yeah, they were literally tied for second place in this SEC East, and if they would have beaten Mississippi State, which was arguably one of the most difficult games left on their whole schedule, then they would have been sitting real pretty to maybe win like 9 games this year.
We're live.
Aaron just wants to hear himself talk.
We're live. It's funny, technology.
You're gonna need to mute that, or that's gonna mess me up.
We're live. Alrighty. Let's see.
This right here is a woman, and she's watching the game.
It's funny to hear about women watching sports.
Yeah, what do they know about routes?
It's funny.
And topical.
Here we go.
Fuck him. Okay.
George Springer has sprung.
That's do that.
Beer run.
Beer run. Not starting the segment off that early. I'm trying to. It's hard to come up with five weird things.
Look at that mobility.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Veteran.
Ooh. I'm gonna keep bumping the old podcast.
Whatever, dude. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Bumping.
Bumping.
Oh, bump the jam, bump it up.
I got pretty psyched when you guys thought about getting a bad QB decal back here.
Oh, that would be tough.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like a fat head.
Let's go to Kinko's. Figure it out. Yeah.
That is tight.
Tell me we need to hook this up with the decal back here.
Decal fat head?
Yes, that is. I don't know what that would cost. Probably not that much.
Probably if
You could afford it.
if we end out if we end out on top this year in our betting,
Yeah.
then we can use a portion of that money to buy the fat head so we actually don't have to pay anything.
That'd be nice.
Hey guys, I'm thinking now.
Reinvest.
Thanks for that, dude.
This is Barstool Sports. This is how they started.
Yeah, that is true actually. But they started with 3 guys. We have 4.
So we're even better.
We're on top of things.
Wait, we have 4 people? We have a lot more than 4 people, right? We have 12.
Well, just right here.
We have 11, not John.
Yeah, this is on stream. You better watch your
I know.
Does he watch?
He doesn't watch this.
Yeah, so
He barely drafts.
true.
And
All
he's good on him for throwing out like the most low effort nicknames, but he still does it.
Mm-hmm.
He still does it this week.
Except for
That's
those
true.
times that he doesn't do it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you have to.
He's respecting the rule at least.
Not make this look like my house is off-center.
John, who the hell am I, Bethard? He really missed the boat on that one. You spell his name beats hard in first week of eligibility, and he really messed it up.
The nicknames possibilities are
Endless.
It's almost too obvious.
What does this guy even look like? I went with a physical joke today
He's
about
Bork, isn't he?
Kaiser's
CJ
hair.
Beathard went to Iowa, and he
No, he's
looks
very
like
white.
a quarterback that went to Iowa.
Like a stalk of corn.
Oh, the Green Bay guy's black.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
right.
Brent Huntley. He went
Huntley.
to UCLA. He was the quarterback before Josh Rosen was the quarterback.
Dude.
I don't care if he's white.
Green Bay's
No, he's black.
gotta be upset, man. Gotta be upset.
Well, they're not happy.
Pumped.
They're
Fuck
not
that
like
Aaron Rodgers.
they're not like you know jumping for joy. I would say.
That gif that
Probably
Taylor
not the
posted in the
most.
group me of Brett Favre shaving, oh, cracked me up.
So great.
Cracked me up.
Got hockey.
NBC.
See, that is why.
It's fucking weird. We were watching. NBC was at Notre Dame, and they had they're at the Notre Dame football game, and the 2 guys on the field had a little tiny desk, and then 3 hockey pucks on the desk.
Like they had their notes and like their cell phones and then like 3 hockey pucks.
Do you think they were using the hockey pucks as paperweights?
That's what I
That's
said.
what Gator suggested.
But they also had their phones on the paper. So
Well, was there a lot of paper?
no.
No. Each one of them had like a sheet of paper.
Was this a NHL broadcast?
No. It was the
So
Notre
here's the
Dame
thing
game.
about NBC. NBC
That-
broadcasts all the Notre Dame games, and they always have from the beginning of time. That's why people watch Notre Dame football from day one.
But
because
all
NBC
I'm
is-
asking is why the hockey pucks?
I think they
they-
they have a primetime game tonight, maybe.
Yeah. Well, what do they also have a hockey
But
game
they
going
must
on
not
tonight?
because Notre Dame is playing.
They're playing tonight, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
They
there's
have a hockey game on
Yeah.
earlier today.
I don't know. But
Even-
it doesn't matter.
irrelevant.
Not irrelevant because what if they did the set that live from the field? Like
What?
if they did like the hockey pregame at the same play in South Bend.
And they couldn't move.
On the
to-
football
No,
field?
They
I
were,
don't
this
fucking
was like
know.
the pregame, like right before the game started. The football game.
So
It just. So it had nothing to do with hockey.
so
The only thing that.
All right, let's talk football here.
Are we sure they were hockey pucks? Maybe they're like some
They
little
were hockey
microphones
pucks.
or
We
something.
looked at, they went to the shot twice. And we
They were
looked
just-
at it and we were
they were
pretty
just
certain.
like some rocks
Huh.
they found on the field, and these guys think they're hockey pucks, and that's that's that.
Hockey pucks.
These are
Okay.
the 2 real hockey fans over here.
I don't think we're gonna have any comments tonight because Brian and Lauren are in Pittsburgh.
Why are they in Pittsburgh?
Broomball tournament.
How
They
selfish
should
is
stop
that?
by the game tomorrow. We got a
Dubs.
Alright,
the best
let's,
football team in Ohio. In Cleveland tomorrow. Cleveland, listen to me. Jesus Christ. Pittsburgh.
Let's
I
get
know.
started, man. Go
All right.
for it, Aaron. Ahem. Ahem.
Burp real quick.
Ahem.
Hey, everybody, tune in. How you doing? This is the next installment of the Three-Step Flop, Flip Flop Flam podcast. I'm so happy to be here today.
New night, new time.
Yeah, we are here with a new crew. We got Austin here, and of course Gator here every week. And we're coming. Tony's going to be popping in and out throughout the podcast. He's doing more production role today. He's laying ones and twos. He's laying
let
low.
him see that beautiful face, Tony. Get your face in there.
See,
there he
he's
is.
here. Yeah.
There he is.
So, what's going on, guys? You guys been good?
Been very good. Making it on the good list. Not so good last week. It didn't go well for me.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm doing fucking
Yeah,
fantastic.
fuck you, man. Fuck you.
It's-
we're catching up to Marianne though. She's had a couple bad weeks in a row.
Yeah, shout out to myself for being in second place.
Right.
I will.
How many times are we gonna hear that tonight?
I'll say
Well, at
that
least once.
last week, the Locust whore herself was a tremendous guest on the podcast. So
Definitely.
hats off to her.
Great job.
Really good to hear from her in actual form, right? So it's like we don't hear from her often in the group meet. She's starting to come around a little bit more, but hearing her defend herself and get into her brain a little bit on how she makes these selections was kind of cool. So kudos to you guys and her.
She was really worried about sounding like she didn't know anything about football, but I don't think that was a concern at all. She sounded like she knew what she was talking
Marianne,
about.
don't limit yourself. Okay? Women can know about football too.
She knows about football, and I think she really came across as having a good balance between fun and knowledge in this league. So again, hats off to her. Could be the first female champion of all time, right?
So far,
Yeah.
that's what the pace is
Yeah.
looking like. But Taylor and Lauren would be pretty upset, I
Well.
think, because they've worked so hard.
Yeah.
They paved the way. I mean, they paved the
Right.
way for females in this league, and there's definitely a good place. You know, this is not a thing where I don't know why I'm getting into gender here, really, but there should be just as many girls in this league as boys, and you know, I'm happy to have her.
Are you guys done?
Yes. Okay. So a good week in the NFL this week. It was again a very wild week in our league.
Yep.
Kind of before we get into the specifics about it, did anything kind of stick out to either one of you guys this week in just the general NFL landscape, if it regards to bad quarterbacks?
Yeah, it's not regards to, a little bit regards to bad quarterbacks. I think Aaron Rodgers getting hurt is huge.
Yep.
We're looking at a ton of backups playing right now. So just right as we're rolling into bye weeks and all that, we have a bunch of options. We still have a bunch of options.
Yeah, the quarterback injury landscape definitely has changed everything for our league. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for sure.
Yeah, and I think injuries is just something that goes with football. But when you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers go down, who's the best one of the best top two quarterbacks in the league, it's devastating for a team like that. And I saw a stat that said that the difference between Aaron Rodgers and their backup, who is Brett Hundley.
Brett Hundley.
Brett Hundley. They will get it right eventually.
Huntley.
I feel like we'll be speaking his name in this league a lot.
Bob Horley.
The difference between Rodgers and him is the biggest gap between starter and replacement in the whole NFL.
Yeah. They really didn't plan for Rodgers ever. He's never gonna die.
Yeah, partially because Aaron Rodgers usually doesn't get hurt, so he doesn't ever miss games to go in. Like Andy Dalton will get hurt sometimes. AJ McCarron will have to step in for a whole game. He'll get some good experience.
Yep.
Brett Hundley hasn't had that opportunity yet, so he could be the next Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. We
We
really
don't know.
knows.
We have no idea.
I guess we'll find out.
Who took the gamble on him this week?
That's a good question.
It was John. It was John.
John. Yep.
Right? Yeah. I mean, pretty low in the draft, John went. So
Nope. John didn't take him. He took Beat Hard, Beathard.
Beathard.
who
Beathard.
let's see. Kind of looking at it. Nobody took him.
What?
Nobody took him. Yep.
No.
Nope. Nobody took him. I'm looking at it right here. So there you go.
Yeah, Brian
Yeah,
took him.
Brian
Butt
literally
cheeks, Brent
took him.
Hundley. Right there.
Brian took him. Brian took it. There we go.
Off
Gosh.
to a hot start.
Right.
Oh man. Okay. Speaking of hot starts, let's kind of dig into it a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So bottom of the list, we've got Aaron.
Yeah,
With
yep.
0 points. Tell us how that happened.
Just
Yeah.
explain yourself.
So I picked 11th last week, which was a good spot. And you get used to picking from later in the draft. And the week prior, I really got a good bump from Matt Castle, who started in place of Marcus Mariota for the Titans. And going into Saturday when I picked, Mariota was very questionable to start on Monday. And I decided to take a little bit of a gamble. I didn't really like any of the matchups that were out there, so I decided to plug him in, knowing that he plays on Monday, also knowing that that's a risk. So I was thinking in my head, worst case scenario, Mariota gets hurt in the game. He comes in, plays. Very worst case scenario, I get 0 points. And, a lot of these weeks you get 0 points, you're middle of the pack, maybe 7-8, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So I was thinking at worst I get 0. So I decided to roll with it and see what happens. Obviously didn't work out for me. Mariota started and Castle didn't even play at all.
Well, that's a bummer because Marianne picked a starting quarterback but forgot to put him in. And is that the first time this year someone's forgot to?
Tony,
No.
Tony's done it a couple
There's
times,
been a
right?
few instances.
Once?
There's been at least 2 separate instances, and Kamish both time has bailed people out for no reason.
For no reason.
I'm calling out Kamish.
Wow. I think there's a reason.
And I appreciate him putting his foot down this week.
Thursday QBs were different. If Thursday QBs are different because he lets the clock run until game
Yep.
time. So that's why he allows that to happen.
He's proved to be a pretty lenient and very forgiving commissioner when it comes to those Thursday football games, which I think is a good format. If it's
Right.
not Thursday, there should be a little bit more harshness
Agreed.
associated with it. But yeah, it was a little bit of a risk on my part. Obviously didn't pan out. It's not going to bury me necessarily, I don't think. It's going to be a minor setback. Not a huge week, but, drafting 12th isn't,
Yep.
or 11th is tough, and now I'm drafting first this week. So
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll pay off for you.
yeah.
We had an average points of 13 last week, which was only our 4th highest average this season. Still higher than the overall average of 12.5. But yeah, so let's move on to Marianne, who also got 0, and she chose Flacco last week, right?
She did.
And I believe it would have got her a negative point if she played him.
No, I think at one point here. Let's go back to I'm on the league.
At one point, it was negative.
No, she had negative at one point, but it. I was gonna say it definitely turned out to be positive at the end of the week.
Okay.
And then real quick, sorry, I was missing.
Case Keenum had 11.22 on the bench.
She went with Keenum?
She sure did.
Oh, okay. I thought she went with Flacco. Okay.
Nope. Case Keenum 11.22 points. Sorry about
Okay.
your luck.
Well, yeah.
Not that sorry.
Well, that's great for us. She's had a couple rough weeks. Still in that first place, but we're catching up slowly.
Yes, I am catching up.
And quickly to backtrack on the nickname front.
Yeah.
Last week I went with Matt Doo-Doo Drainage Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And who do we talk about right now?
Keenum.
Marianne?
Yeah.
She went with Case Replacement Keenum. So we've seen better nicknames than that. So hopefully
From both parties.
We sure have.
I don't know. Doo-Doo Drainage is pretty good. I think that's...
Your method is just pick some goofy child
Yeah,
like
honestly,
words.
if we can actually talk about this, I think that you have the most overrated nicknames in the whole league.
Wow.
Let's
I haven't talked to
I want
anybody
to
else
challenge
about this,
you
but I'm bringing
to
it out right
change
now.
it up next week.
I'm going to
Judge
challenge you
Robin.
both. I'm going to challenge you both to recognize who made this system and to respect
Listen,
me.
no, there is respect,
Respect the fact that your nicknames are just not as good as
but they
other
haven't
people's.
changed. They haven't changed since day one.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to change next
Oh.
week either. So it's going to keep getting raunchier and dirtier, and I'm going to make sure to piss
man.
both of you off because I love it.
All right.
Literally not mad.
Well, next up, it was me. I had Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Turdberger.
Yep, Ben Turdberger.
Come on.
Nice.
Come
Oh,
on.
come on from Aaron.
Tony, what was better, doo-doo drainage or Turdberger?
Not a part of this.
He's clearly a doo-doo drainage
Turd
fan.
burger.
Burger is definitely better because I was able to type turd burger in and find a GIF for it.
That's fair.
Well, he was actually scoring me about, like 10 points or so, and then at the end of the game went and threw himself a touchdown, dropped me down to about 3.
Idiot.
Like an idiot. I knew Roethlisberger was a risky pick. I was hoping Lightning would strike twice. Last week he got 50-something points. I'm taking more risks this year, and we'll see how it pays off.
They say the percentages are low on Lightning striking twice.
Yeah.
There's a stat about that or something.
That's in fact, they say it never strikes the same place twice.
Wow.
So
Roethlisberger, though, this year hasn't been very good. I mean, as a quarterback, he's been pretty bad.
Right.
As a guy he's been pretty poopy doopy. You're right.
Indeed.
As a guy who is traditionally a pretty solid quarterback, he could use his legs every now and then, punch one in, and been a good weapons. I mean, all around him. So this year, he's just been not as good.
With all the Cincinnati bias that y'all have, how come no one picked him this week?
Because the Bengals are going to stomp him out like a fucking fire in the woods.
So you should have picked him.
This is here. I'll actually give the real reason why, because the Bengals are 8-20 in their last 28 games against the Steelers, and there's no actual real good reason to pick Roethlisberger in our league when there are so many other safer picks.
You're right.
And I drafted first this week as well.
Right.
So as much as I would have loved to see Ben struggle, and I would have considered him at the end of the draft, I had to go with a more tasty matchup.
I like the guy that I picked at the last pick a lot more than Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I agree. Phil Rivers is...
Shout out to Phil.
Phil fuck it Rivers again.
Fuck it, second time's a charm.
Okay, who we got next here? We've got Alex with 8.98 points.
Jay, the broadcaster Cutler.
I don't get it.
Yeah, nor do I. I guess he's saying that's his next career endeavor, maybe?
No, he's saying that he was a broadcaster for Fox, and then he came out of retirement.
Oh, you're right. You're
from
right.
being a broadcaster to the Miami Dolphins quarterback.
You're right.
Good job.
Was he really?
Really? Oh, really?
Fucking Cutler.
Forever.
Who are they going up against this week here? We've got the Dolphins against the Jets. And the Jets are...
that's such a poopy doopy matchup.
Poopy doopy. Oh man, no one went with him obviously for that poopy doopy reason. But I don't know. Cutler's still an option in the future.
He is for sure an option.
Yeah.
If I didn't go with Phil, Jay was a close second.
We got it for sure.
Cheers.
And we got a shout out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, multiple of those.
All right.
I fucking love that rule, Brian. I'd love that rule.
So Miami is an interesting kind of team. They're not that great, but they're not like the worst. I think Miami could be a team that's
pretty average.
They could surprise some people some weeks. I think they're a trap game, in my opinion. I think Cutler is a quarterback that can prove to be a terrible quarterback, but can prove to also have some good weeks. He's a veteran.
Scientifically proven.
So I just say, when picking Jay Cutler, heed the matchup, and this week against the Jets, I don't know. It could be not the juiciest matchup. Nope.
Sure.
Okay. Next week.
For sure. Oh boy.
Jesus, we're gonna get drunk tonight, boys.
Guys, I only have one beer. There's no chance I'm playing this game.
No chance.
We'll hit you up. No chance.
First of all, I didn't even know about this game until right now. So.
Yeah, it's a thing now.
All
it's a thing.
Cool, I'm not playing.
I've got more beer. We can hit you up with more beer. Next, we've got Kamish with 9.44 points.
Eli, push me to the edge. All my friends are dead, Manning.
That was definitely the nickname of the week.
That's good. If anything's going to convince me to switch it up, something like that will. So Kamish.
Some really lengthy nickname.
Yeah, the long ones can be the good ones, if you will.
How about Marianne not adhering to our draft format this week?
You know what?
Ooh.
That honestly, the only reason I'm going to let it pass is because she's a girl.
Oh,
you sexist pig.
I think it's
That's the only reason.
It should happen to a rookie, and then next time is an offense. I think it happened to me one time, and then I've corrected it. She's going to correct it.
You got to fix it. Gotta fix it.
Slap on the wrist.
It is definitely a slap on the wrist. There are way worse offenses, like no nickname at all.
Big time.
Yeah, that's worse.
Huge. That is a huge
Flagrant.
offense.
Wrong.
Flagrantly huge.
Wow.
Anyway, who did Brian go with? I forget.
Me, Manning. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead, Manning.
Yeah, I wanted to pick him this week. Obviously, he got him about 9.5 points, that's a fair number. It's not the greatest thing, but and that's something this week about a lot of that middle ground was separated by like 0.5 points. So it's almost unfortunate to be, 0.2 points better than someone below you, because then you lose a whole draft spot for just 0.2 points. So that can be really frustrating. If I'm gonna beat somebody, I want to beat him by a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the format sort of maybe encourages slight rooting against your own team.
What do you mean?
Literally just exactly what you
Oh,
said.
okay. I see. I see what you mean.
Eli is going to be his value in this league is soaring, because after the Beckham injury, after Sterling Shepard was out last week.
Yeah, Sterling Shepard out last week, should be back this week.
Okay.
As by far their number one receiver. Not even close.
Well, they're going up against Seattle this week, which is why he's a hot pick.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup if you have them in regular fantasy leagues.
He got
this fantasy league, hot fire.
Got to take him.
Hot fire.
He was selected 4th overall this week by Alex. Great pick. I mean, they're going. It's at New York, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Seattle's a great defense. Eli Manning doesn't have many things around him that's going to help. Their run offense is still kind of bad, and their offensive line is pretty bad too. So I mean, you look squishy for sure.
I think that's what turned me away from him was
my bad.
Squishy's a drink. Squishy's a drink.
All right.
I think that's what turned me away from him is I'm afraid with losing his receivers that they're just going to end up running the ball more, and I don't want to.
Giants, you mean?
Yeah.
The Giants have like the worst rushing attack in the
league.
But I think you're right in terms. They did run the ball. They ran it for over 100 yards last week. I think it was like first time all year. So I think you're right. They will try to run it a little bit more. But
when that doesn't work
out,
out,
losing
the
game. Like they're 0-, they're 1-5 after they somehow miraculously beat the Broncos. Nobody knows how that happened.
I don't know how they did that.
I literally think we're living in an alternate reality. That's the only way that happened.
That's the only way we can explain a lot of these wins.
I want to find out how many times did he throw last week?
Yeah, Tony, if you could maybe help us out in that would be.
Could you find that out?
Yeah, you're normally our stats guy.
Yeah, push me to the edge.
I'll type that in.
Because if they were going to ever run the ball, it would have been last week, right? They
19.
That's low.
That's not that many.
That's low.
That's low AF.
So to your point, that could be a pound in the rock.
Yeah, so their defense played pretty well last week. Low scoring game for most of the game. So we'll see how it pans out for him.
All right, next up is Taylor with 9.52 points. Who should you take?
Jared Goffley, Miss Molly. Didn't even add Goff. Good Goffley, Miss Molly.
Good.
And I believe this was
God.
an auto draft, so Brian made up that nickname there.
And he's been very creative with these.
He gets a lot of
replacement
opportunities
nicknames.
to show his
Brian,
stuff.
when he's at like work on Monday through Friday, he like just thinks about the bad quarterback league and nothing else. What do you guys think?
Yeah, good for him. He should. We need that kind of effort. Yeah.
So I think Goff's been one of the more interesting players in this league so far. Starting out the year, we kind of talked about it earlier that just not people thought he was going to be a really bad quarterback, but he hasn't quite lived up to that standard. He's been a pretty solid guy.
Of shittiness, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
He was goofy last year, but
I'd take 9.5 points this week. I'd be fine with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, solid.
So it worked out.
Have been.
Fuck you, man. We get it. You're doing
Honestly, you guys are gonna let me have this because for 3+ years I've been in the cellar of this league, and finally I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
And you better watch out.
All right, we're watching.
And he drafted last.
Yeah,
the very first week.
Your
Listen to that
draft value thing. I'm in 3rd in the whole league. I just checked it
Good.
before I came
Yeah,
on.
man.
Doing my research.
You're doing well.
Yeah, 3rd.
No, it looks
3rd
like you're in
2nd in real life.
No, you're in
We're about to
2nd
be
in the
first.
draft value.
2nd in draft value. Wow.
Yeah, 3rd. Aaron's in 2nd.
Ooh,
Aaron's in
oh,
second.
yeah.
But who's in second in the real standings?
We're the Bludgeon Brothers, man. People were underestimating us.
That's a fact.
They
Listen,
were.
Tay, we need you, but you got to stop auto drafting. Is the whole thing.
I kind of
Yeah,
remember.
she's gotta stop working, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
that
stop
whole
working.
Whack, 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 whack.
I kind of remember them picking on us last year.
Oh, I have PTSD about.
Yeah, kind of mean
If you
saying
were
how
playing
we
for
were
Penn
doing.
State, you would have quit the team.
Oh, I would have quit so long ago.
But I'm just saying these two were kind of ragging on us last year. Like we're not that good.
Yeah, we're on the podcast and we're just gonna rag on him.
And we're better than
I
them.
have a
So
chair.
You know what's funny? I'm gonna at the end of the season when you guys are back where you belong, I'm gonna go watch
first.
this video again and I'm gonna replay it for you. All right. We're
All
gonna,
right.
We're gonna
I
send
can't
that
wait
back.
to replay this when
We're-
I literally win the league.
Go
what's
for it.
And I'm gonna make fun of your dumbass dog for picking me last.
Good.
what
Do it. He
what-
is dumb.
What place are you in right now?
I don't know,
Oh,
man.
hold on.
I'm not
You wanna
doing well.
know?
I'm not doing
10th
well.
out of 12. You want to know, Gator? Do you want to know how many points you are behind?
Yeah,
me?
I'm pretty far behind.
You're like 75 points.
I
behind
get it.
me.
I understand. This is
Do you
where
think you're going
I
to surpass me this
can, I
year?
can crawl my way back
Us
up.
this year.
Yeah.
If you do, I'll buy you a 6-pack of any beer of your choosing. If
Tony
you don't,
owes me a 6-pack.
you buy me a 6-pack. If you're that confident, buddy.
Let me see where you're at right now.
Do it.
I'm in 3rd or 4th
Aaron's in 5th, but he has
or 5th.
But he has 38 more points than you do, roughly. Quick,
You know what?
mental math there.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Deal.
Yep, on
All right.
on the record now.
So you heard it right now. So whoever comes higher this
the other
year
one
owes
a
the other one a
6-pack.
6-pack. Yeah.
I like it.
Game on.
Gonna be the highest.
Gator's always a gamer.
I'm gonna buy. You're gonna make me. You're gonna buy me a fancy ass beer, some fancy shit.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yo, Gator, I need some fancy beer suggestions, so Tony has to spend a lot of money on my 6-pack.
Okay.
Who we got next?
We've got Drew with 9.76 points.
Drew.
Drew took Jadopi Brissett.
Jadopi.
Brissett.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
Brissett
Love that for-
has been a consistent pick ever since
Yep.
like week 2 or 3 or something like that.
First of all, we need to clear this up. I think his name is Brisket.
it's not brisket.
So
But sure. Jadopi brisket.
It's been cleared.
Confirmed.
It's Brisket. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Brisket. Here's the deal about Brisket, guys. I feel kind of bad for him, other than the fact that he's delicious. Because because he gets traded the week before the regular season starts to a brand new team. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, you actually have to start because we literally suck so bad.
Yeah.
Like you just have to play, and it's gonna be terrible, and you're gonna get hit, and it's not gonna be fun. But you got to do it.
Well, and they're going up against the fucking Jaguars.
Yeah,
Who
but
have
here's
been-
what I'll say, man. Brisket.
Yep.
He's been putting up some good, bad QB league points, but in real, actual football terms, he hasn't been playing that poorly. He's been playing well enough for them to win games. His team is so bad that he has no chance.
Yeah, yeah.
No chance.
I think there's going to be a point in the season when it turns for him, where he's not a top of the order type of guy. He could be a guy you could pick towards the end. I had the first pick this week. I picked him because he's going
Right.
to Jacksonville, who's the best defense in the league thus far, forces a lot of turnovers. He started off the game last week really solid. He drove down the field, passed a touchdown, kind of fell off after that. But I think Brissett, until he proves us otherwise, is going to be a good pick. I mean, I think.
Yeah, do you think he'll, like, that turning point, do you think 1 week he'll just get someone negative 20 points or something like that, and then
Yeah.
we're all going to be afraid of him?
I think it's going to be one of those. I could foresee him having a Deshaun Watson type of play where he can run it for 40 yards. Maybe there was when they played Cleveland, he ran in for 2 touchdowns, like those kind of things.
That's Cleveland.
That's Cleveland, and they suck so bad. They're so
Sorry,
bad.
Brian, not
They're
really
so
that
bad. I think he could have a couple outlier games like that, but until now,
Literally, Tony tried to crawl under the video thing both times, and his ass is in the screen both times.
And you think that was an accident?
it's a little warm
Told you,
here.
we got some
No,
hot,
it's super
hot,
warm.
hot
I
bods
asked
on
him
the
to turn the
podcast
AC
tonight.
down, and he did it, and he is wonderful.
A gracious host.
He is incredibly gracious. By the way, Notre Dame is up 21-0 on USC. 7 minutes in the second quarter. Penn State up 14-6 on Michigan. 7 minutes in the second quarter.
And scoreless in the playoffs.
Astros, Yankees,
That's baseball for everybody that doesn't know.
baseball.
Yep. Speaking of our gracious host, Tony is up next with 15.74 points, and that's a big jump between 9 and 15 there, breaking away from the middle of the pack.
And he took Bitchley Trubisky.
Which wasn't that nickname
Smooth.
used again this week?
Honestly, dudes, there's been some recycled nicknames.
A different. Who picked him? You picked him again?
Tony said basic bitch Trubisky. Really running that into the ground.
So I think Commish needs some input on this, obvi, but the recycled nicknames thing.
It's bullshit.
Is that recycled?
The whole premise of the joke is so what every single week we're gonna hear Mitchell Trubisky is a bitch because
Sure.
that's stupid.
Some people aren't as
Negative
creative
one.
as like I am for
Right.
instance.
Doopy doopy
Let's
mishmash.
talk about recycled
Yellow discharge.
nicknames.
Oh, there's no recycle.
Slurpee.
Hey, there's nothing recycled about it. Actually, there's
I would argue
that
that
theme is.
I would argue that the theme is, but
this Slurpee's a good one. I should think about that.
Slurpee.
Okay, but yeah, so Trubisky, good week for him. Rookie quarterback coming in. I think this is his second start, and Chicago's a tough place to play, right, when you're coming in. So I think Trubisky's a good pick by Tony this week. And let's see, who did the Bears play last week? Tony, you remember? Tony's gonna look it up. Do you think Trubisky's a guy that you can draft even if he's playing a pretty weak defense?
Yeah, just because I think the Bears are kind of like the Colts, where there's not a lot to work with.
I do agree to a certain extent, but the Bears have a really, really good situation at running back with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that those guys, out just pure runs, are getting over 30 touches a game between the two of them.
Yeah.
So it's really, there's only so many plays, right? So Trubisky's going to be throwing the ball between 20 and 25 times a game. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not Carson Palmer's situation where he's airing it out 50 times
No.
every single game. Like, this is a situation where he's getting half that many. So there's half the amount of opportunities to throw interceptions.
Right.
There's half the amount of opportunities for terrible, horrible, dirty, no good, very bad things. to happen to
Half the opportunities for touchdowns.
Exactly. So give and take, obviously. But even when Carson Palmer goes 30 for 53 for 300 yards, he still had 20-something incompletions, and that's a huge amount of
That's
points.
a great point. That's a really good point.
You have to really consider the style of play. I would say Trubisky is a lower half of the draft type of player, but he's definitely a player that should be drafted every week by somebody.
Especially if they're going up against good defense.
Yes, fact.
He just for that game went into overtime actually, and he only threw the ball 16 times.
Seriously.
He was 8 for 16
right.
with 113 yards with
He's
a touchdown.
not going to put up yards. He's not going to put up touchdowns, but he's not putting up incompletions or any of the bad stuff either.
Wow, how did he still get 16 points?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He I believe there was a fumble in there. Obviously the 8 incompletions. He had at least 1, if not 2 turnovers, and definitely some sacks riddled in there.
I think sacks were the main thing.
He's going to get hit on the sacks for sure because their
Sacks
offensive line
is something that
is terrible.
It's hard. It's so hard to predict. You know.
It's really the offensive line is a big part of it, obviously, but sometimes there's teams that just have bad matchups against other teams, and there's just going to be four sacks last week. So that's a decent amount. I mean, 4 sacks in the game per defense. If you're a defensive coach, you're really happy about 4 sacks. So
he also had 4 scampers for 32 yards, so he could use his legs a little bit.
He's definitely a super athletic guy, even though he's white. Breaking racial barriers and stereotypes left and right.
2 fumbles.
2 fumbles. So
that'll help. That'll help.
That's
and
big
those
time.
fumbles are even harder to predict. You can't. They're impossible to predict.
Exactly.
And
but more times he runs, more opportunities for fumbles, though. So that might be an area where his value increases a little bit. Like I said, I really think he's a mid to late round type of guy.
To your point, just to kind of close us out, Austin, Jordan Howard had 36 carries last game for 167. Tariq Cohen had 14 carries, which is like
that's 50 rushing
attempts.
That's
a lot of
crazy.
a lot of teams. 14 carries would be almost what their starting running back would have. So, great point there, Austin. There run first offense there.
Okay, so next up we got John with 15.92 points.
John with Josh Helicopter McCown. Was that him or Brian?
I think that was John.
Yeah,
and I give him respect because he is known for the helicopter.
Yeah, but I mean, talk about recycled, man. Talk about
no,
recycled.
definitely recycled. But let's be honest.
It is the funniest thing
bigger
I've ever seen.
improvement from nothing.
Yeah.
John's gimmick is the low effort, minimal nickname, almost like he's doing this on purpose type of kind of effort. You didn't even capitalize helicopter. It was lowercase too.
We saw more conversation from him in the chat last year. Now it's non-existent.
Yeah.
I forget he's there sometimes.
Full-time job, man.
Oh yeah. Well, so we all have a full-time job now.
Listen, man.
He was.
I want to hear about the hours anybody else is putting.
He was really into the Vegas lines. He
Yeah,
speaks
he
up when
loves
it comes to
that. He
betting
loves
because
that.
he's really into that, and I trust him because he does that a lot. So when it comes to the Vegas lines, he's invaluable.
My pigskin pick'em, by the way.
I bet you're doing good, right?
80%.
I bet she's doing good because he wouldn't bring it up if he wasn't.
No,
My mom always taught me something. She said she said SPS, and that means self praise stinks. And whenever you bring up yourself for a praise thing, it stinks.
shout out to myself.
That smells good, man. It smells good.
Smells real nice.
All right.
Well done.
Sure, yeah.
Shout out. And to the rebuttal.
Shouts out.
All right.
I definitely need another beer.
So
at some point.
McCown,
Oh, me too.
he's the poster boy for the league.
That'd be tight.
The Jets suck,
I was exactly.
but they're playing. No one picked him this week, did they?
Who?
McCown?
Bortle McSchmortle.
Oh yeah, yes. Taylor auto drafted him.
Taylor got
you
yep.
mean Josh McBrown?
McBrown.
6.
We had 2 fumbles on names this week. It was McBrown and Randy Robert Bortles.
Robert Bortles.
Drew said Robert Bortles.
Maybe that was on purpose, and secretly that would be hilarious.
Sounds very.
He's so bad.
I wish,
Purposely
like I said,
give him the wrong.
I wish his
first
name was Bob Bortles. That'd be even better.
Guys,
Robbie-
turn this fan on. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Crack the window if you want or
let's do it.
something.
Guys,
It's getting a little warm in here. 4 dudes and a lot of.
4 dudes and
Heavy guy.
Never mind.
Yeah, turn on the AC. What do you want me to do?
Could you flip the fan on? Dad?
Look at this. We got a producer that brings us
Worried
beers.
about the audio quality.
It's not coming on.
I've never
Yeah, it's 'cause
used
the-
that fan before.
He's never.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You get a little behind the scenes look here, fellas.
Yeah, it's
Oh, there we
because
go.
the whole like light switch and everything.
Tony, good job this week. You're
Tony is honestly, shout out to Tony. Tony, do you want to say anything to the squad? I have no idea where we are in talking. I think we're somewhere in the middle. So
No, I don't need to say anything.
nothing needs to be
You guys
said?
are doing a great job.
Tony, you're doing a great job,
Thank
and
you.
we appreciate everything that you do for
I'm
us.
very content watching this baseball game.
Hype. Is that one too? Hype? Is that a drink one? Brian?
Hey,
Need some
fuck it, I'll drink.
clarification.
uh-oh.
So McCown, poster boy of the league, scored.
Fucking poster boy. Are we doing
almost-
a McCown jersey? Is that happening?
I really hope we do.
Or can we get like a Jamarcus Russell jersey?
I would rather have McCown jersey.
Okay. Or Achilles Smith.
But about 16 points this week. That's really good McCown numbers. You know, like we've been talking about earlier, he hasn't scored a ton
Or
of points
Ryan
for
Leaf.
us.
Sorry.
Fuck you, man. But 16 points is great, and it's good to see McCown back where he belongs, just doing
Where-
shitty.
Where, if he's anywhere else, I'm gonna be pissed. Like if he's not there,
Being
It's-
shitty, you mean?
it's just wrong.
It's not. There's something wrong with the world
It's
if
not the same.
if McCown is throwing touchdowns.
It's not the same.
Okay.
Nothing was the same as Drake said.
Lauren's up next with 18.32 points. Who'd she go with?
I like this one. And sorry if this fan's causing any audio interesting sounds. Yeah, so producer over here is worried about it, but we'll work through it. Lauren picked Brian B. Holyer, which I like.
B. Holyer. That's good.
Good
That's
job,
good.
Lauren.
Points, Lauren. Like it.
Shout out to B holes too.
Who's Hoyer even
Drake,
play
you guys
for? I
missed
can't
it.
even.
The 49ers.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And he lost his job this week.
Sure
who?
did. To CJ
To
Beathard.
Beathard.
Oh, that's Beth. Okay.
Yep. So we had a job lost this week. I wasn't watching the game. I was kind of busy, but did he get benched for Beathard? Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't watching the game, but I followed it once somebody posted in the group me. I double checked it. Hoyer, my boy from Michigan State.
Fucking
getting
terrible.
benched.
So terrible.
Classic Hoyer.
See
But
who-
here, so a little background on CJ Beathard for those who don't know. 3-year starter at Iowa, led them to the Big Ten championship game against my Michigan State Spartans. Lost, played pretty well. Never really thought that he was good enough to make it in the league. Then again, nobody thought Brian Hoyer was good enough to make it in the league, and here we are. So he literally looks like exactly like what you think he looks like. White quarterback from Iowa.
They're
So,
going up against Dallas this week. I don't know. That feels like a middle of the road defense.
Dallas, yeah, straight middle of the road, maybe slightly lower than average defense.
They're a little bit below average defense. So the 24th out of all the NFL teams in defense.
So this could be a good opener for him.
Could be.
Could be, but he's on the. Is it at home or on the road?
It is.
I got you.
It is home against Dallas.
Okay,
It's
if it
in
was
San
on the road,
Francisco.
I feel like it'd be a bloodbath against him. If it's at home, it's got a little bit of a chance in San Fran.
Yeah.
Try to get Carlos Hyde going a little bit. Hopefully he doesn't have to throw the ball 100 times. But
Yeah.
Dallas is better. Dallas is going to shit on them.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to throw the ball, and bad things are going to happen.
San Francisco's bad.
And what's that dude, DeMarcus Lawrence or whatever that dude's name is? For
I'm not familiar.
Dallas. I need to look this dude's name up. He's a defensive end. Because he has like 11 and a half sacks this year.
Did you already get one?
He got one for me.
DeMarcus
Beer on
Lawrence.
your own segment.
Yeah, I gotta run
and
my
shout
own
out to his middle name being Tank.
Before you leave,
Well, that's his name, I don't know if it's his name.
No, it's his middle name.
I would like to
It's
take this
literally on
time
his birth certificate.
to just tip our cap to Brian Hoyer for being a tremendous bad quarterback in
I
this
think he deserves
league.
a round of applause.
Yeah,
I
good
think
point.
Maybe a moment of silence.
All right, 1 second of silence. That's for Brian Hoyer.
That's for Hoyer.
Cheers to him. He had a great season for us. Kind of run through his weeks: 25 points, 20 points. Outlier at just .36. 32 whopping points, 5 points, 8 points.
Guess who had him on that outlier week? That was
Gator.
me. Yeah.
You did.
Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go make a beer run, and that brings us to America's favorite game, beer run. First of all, does anyone need one?
We just got replenished.
Literally just
Okay,
got replenished.
so while I go get another one, Austin, I want you to name 5 different touchdown celebrations that you would do if you're in the touchdown.
Wow.
Aaron, I want you to name your fingers.
Name your fingers. Aaron has to go first.
Pinky finger, ring finger, middle finger.
No, like names.
What?
Like your pinky fingers. His name is Frank.
Oh, pickle, patty. We're going Grover right here. We're going grasshopper, and then we're going with the curdly, dirtly, purpley, derply, erply right here.
Disgusting.
Now you're on the clock.
What was mine again?
5 touchdown celebrations.
I feel like Cotton Eye Joe is one that doesn't ever get done. That
better
needs
hurry
to
up.
Be done. Excuse me. I will do
This is
whatever.
a speed contest.
Speed contest.
Y'all messed up.
No,
He
I
did.
didn't. No, you took 90 hours to name your pinky. What am I supposed to do?
Now you have to wear my hat.
You did really.
not wearing
fucking
your
You have to wear-
I want 2 at once.
Yeah, I did. We'll let that on the slide, but I want to hear your 5 touchdowns.
So I think that any of the Chad Johnson celebrations, first and foremost, the one with the cheerleader holding up the sign, NFL, please don't find me for Christmas, that immediately gets fined. Let's see, Randy Moss mooning the crowd.
That's a good one.
The shuffle needs to come back. Man, there have been some good ones. Obviously, whoa, what's happening? Oh, there we go.
The river dance.
The river dance.
Is this live?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this what they're seeing, Tony?
I don't believe that. I don't believe they're seeing what we're seeing.
What'd you name your fingers?
Oh, did you remember?
Pickle, patty, Grover. I forget what this one's
But
called.
it's fine. On the way here, I thought of that, and I thought I lost it.
The
I thought
harder
it was
question,
funny.
I was like, okay, this is my pinky, my ring, my middle, my index. I was like
I
that.
got it. Yeah. Oh yeah, then when he takes over the camera, oh that's so good too. That's amazing.
If you had to do one,
Peter Warwick.
if you had to do one of them, what would be? That's good.
Austin's put some real thought into this.
No, I haven't put enough thought into it because this is something that you have to take super seriously. First of all, it has to be something choreographed with the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. Now that that's legal again.
Yeah, now that you can do that. Like, you saw the Vikings, they screwed up trying to do duck, duck, goose. Good idea, poor execution.
Yeah.
It's duck, duck, goose, by the way, not gray duck.
Yeah, who the fuck says...
Honestly, go
duck,
back
duck,
to Canada
gray
if
duck.
that's what you
That's
think.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
We should build the wall around Minnesota so we don't have to hear gray.
Duck, duck, gray duck. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
My touchdown celebration at the end would definitely include a spike, and here's why. As an offensive lineman, you don't get to score the touchdown unless it's some ridiculous thing. And, you never get the glory. And so when you
spike that fucking ball.
When you finally get in that end zone, you have to let your emotions over your whole career out.
Yeah.
In that one spike.
That's what Rudy Johnson did that, right? He handed it to offensive linemen and let them spike the ball.
Yeah, there's some running backs that do it, and it's, let's be honest, pretty tight. We want the offensive lineman to spike the ball, and Gronk.
I like it.
And Gronk.
I would. That's a great idea. Real quick, if I could chime in, if I could do one, I would run to the end zone. My offensive line and everybody on the team would get into a boat formation tightly like this on two sides, and then on my command they would start rowing the boat like this. The whole team, the same pace.
We sitting down in the end zone to do this?
Yeah, you're kind of like knees to chest as best as you can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So just everybody
really
there.
Funny if you did an Olympic, whatever that
right.
is.
Yeah, that's good.
The rowing competition.
Right.
Good thing that we can only get to the end zone in our video games because.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing. Otherwise, bad things will happen.
That's right. Okay, so
let's finish off this top.
We left off with San Francisco before the craziness. So.
Yes. So we are moving on to Tom. We got 23.18 points. Who'd Tom go with?
Tom selected Blake Booger Pickin' Bortles. I like it.
So Tom's got his own naming convention that's similar to yours. It's childlike. It's family friendly.
But it's just way less disgusting.
Yeah, it's there.
You could say that I'm almost like a role model in some ways for his naming selection.
Except his is child friendly.
Yeah.
Yours not.
His is like, oh, you knucklehead, you goofball.
It's like Tom in real life.
Yeah.
So.
Tom's a family man, just like Aaron.
Good man.
Flim flam family man. How did you do? 23 points is real good. Where did you get all those points from?
He threw the ball and bad shit happened. What do you want me to tell you?
This is why Tony's normally on top of the statistics game. But
Bortles.
Not even paying attention to the entire podcast.
Well, Bortles is always a guy that you're going to be tempted to take. Period. Yeah. Last week he threw 23. He completed 23 of 35 passes, 1 touchdown, 1 interception,
5 sacks.
Ooh, damn.
5 sacks, right?
Damn.
And 2 fumbles, but didn't lose any of the fumbles.
Jacksonville is that funny team with a shit offense and a really good defense, and that's how they're winning these weird ass games where Bortles is still doing terribly.
Guys, if the Jaguars beat the Steelers, we could beat the Steelers, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. I've heard rumblings that if Bortles continues to put up mediocre results, Chad Henne might take over under center.
Oh yeah, those are actually loud rumors.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: how bad does Chad Henne have to be for them to have not already done?
Yeah.
That's
yep.
my thing.
I think they're giving Bortles a little bit of a long leash just because he's supposed to be the guy.
Number 1 pick or whatever.
Drew took him this week against.
Yeah. There's no point to bring Chad Henne in. We know what Chad Henne
Definitely not.
What? It's not going to save their season. They're not going to make the playoffs, so you might as well just let Bortles keep playing.
Yeah. Give him some
He is missing his number 1 receiver for the second straight year, pretty much, Allen Robinson. And I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to make a bold prediction this week. I think Blake Bortles has a bad quarterback, a bad week for this league. I think he's going to have a really good game against the Colts. I think he's going to.
I mean, the Colts aren't good. The Colts are bad. So I don't see. I agree with you.
I have a prediction. The Colts are going to beat the Jaguars
Wow.
on the road, and Bortles is going to play terribly.
Ooh,
Wow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's interesting.
see.
I mean,
You guys wanna put something on it?
We've already made one bet tonight.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting something on it, but
We'll think about something good to put on.
he has been a very good quarterback in this league. I mean, 3 points, 26 points. The 1 week, sorry, Brian, negative 9.8.
Lol.
Then went 21,
Lol,
14,
lol, lol.
23. So, I mean, he's put up good numbers in this league, but he throws the ball a lot.
Yeah.
They have a great running back, Leonard Fournette. Great rookie running back.
Great.
He could be out this week. Chris Ivory might be coming in to start at running back, which might make them want to throw the ball a little bit more, in my opinion. Like I said, I think Indianapolis is a great matchup for him. So we'll see what happens. But Bortles continues to be an interesting guy.
So my touchdown celebration that I just kind of am stealing from this is definitely doing leapfrog.
Is that what they
over
just
all my
did?
teammates.
That's
I don't
good.
think it was planned, but it was what ended up happening, and
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
That's a good one. Schoolyard games like hopscotch and just like
Oh, that'd be
jump
great.
rope. Those would all be good. Those would all be good.
Foursquare.
Yeah, fucking Foursquare, dude. By the way, I just
Wall
looked
ball.
at our wall ball, the best,
Wall
the
ball's
absolute
greatest
best.
game of all time.
By the way, I'm looking at our stream right now, and the way Austin has that Labatt set up, it looks like we're being sponsored by Labatt
yeah,
Blue.
Get that Bud Light.
So,
My face is blurry compared to the rest of the screen.
Make a target.
It's a problem.
that's a bummer.
It's really distracting me now that
Austin, you just have a blurry face. Your face is
Just
blurry.
in real life.
In
it's
real
just
life.
blurry.
You didn't sign the waiver.
I didn't. You're right.
Sorry,
I
folks.
wouldn't have signed that one.
Okay, well, while we're speaking of your blurry face,
Yeah.
drum roll, please, because top of the list is Austin.
Woo!
44.2 fucking points. How'd you do it, man? How do you do it?
I just want to dedicate this to my mom because
She's the real MVP.
the real MVP, and she's helped me out so much through this whole process. It's been a, treacherous 3+ years,
Austin's acting like he
But-
won the fucking league.
but we're back,
We're back,
here.
baby.
and we're coming.
How close are you to Marianne?
Within 12, 13 points, something like that.
All right. That's 1 week.
Austin, I wore this shirt on purpose.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
13 points.
Can you tell me why I wore this shirt?
Because you.
You
love
know
wrestling,
what
it's a
this shirt
wrestling
is?
shirt.
You know who this is
Yeah,
for? Who?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Who'd
So
you
do you
pick?
know why I wore this shirt today?
Because of Kevin Hogan, brother.
That's right.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was a great pick, Austin.
Thank you. Again, thank you, Kevin Hogan.
What was your
for your
nickname? What
efforts.
was his nickname?
Oh yes.
Pretty good.
His his
it was Hogan.
his nickname was Kevin Hogan.
Gotcha.
And it's because I was at work and I was helping a customer,
Yeah.
and I still made my pick while I was helping a customer.
Hold on, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, got it. What can I help you with today?
Yeah, it's literally exactly what happened.
So that this is one of those picks that we look back on and we're like, why the hell did we not think about taking this guy?
I cannot believe he was sitting there.
How far
at the
down were you?
end. It was right. It was towards the end.
Oh yeah, you said you were last, weren't you?
He was 12.
Dude, listen.
How-
I've
yeah,
been-
how did that
bro,
happen?
I've been picking in the last 4 picks for the last 4 weeks.
Who who did they play against?
Let me correct that. He was 8th. He drafted 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
Bottom 4. Who did Hogan play against? I don't even remember. We're about to find out. It was against the Houston Texans defense.
Yeah.
You picked right before me, Austin, last week. Just before me.
Gotcha.
So
So Hogan's stats: 17 incompletions. He only threw for 140 yards for the whole game. 3 picks. One of them was a pick 6. 4 sacks and a fumble.
That's terrible.
He ruined his day. It would have been over 50 points by throwing a touchdown with 2 minutes.
ruined
left
his
in the game.
day.
This is gonna be next year on This Week in Bad QB History. This is what
It's gonna be
Tony's
this
gonna
week, I know.
gonna talk about.
And you're welcome for providing that for you.
That was in hindsight, that pick was before last week. Kevin Hogan, everything we saw of him was pretty good. He came in and spelled Deshaun Kaiser, and he was pretty good. Like
Yeah.
he
playing
got his
against
legs.
Second team defenses
You're right.
playing prevent defense.
You're right.
Deshaun Kaiser was playing against first team defenses when they were playing their real scheme.
Right.
People came. I mean, what I would say is that when he went out against the when Kaiser went out with that head injury and he came in the middle of the game, then Kaiser came back in the game.
Hogan looked decent there.
Hogan did look decent. That was against first team defense. So
Yep.
I'll give him his props there, but I also will give him his props where his props aren't due, which is in this case. And he played like literally like mentally he wasn't all there, if you will.
Right.
So he played so bad, in fact, that he got relegated to third string. So Hugh Jackson came out and said that Cody Poopy Doopy Kessler, the OG Poopy Doopy, I'm just saying that because I think Kessler was somebody I took more last year than any other quarterback.
Yeah, you did. That's
is now their second string quarterback,
Wow.
which means that if
last?
Deshaun Kaiser, if he keeps playing bad, which everything says that he should,
We're gonna see another.
we could see Cody Kessler come back into the fold.
Are we in our lifetimes gonna see a consistent Browns quarterback?
No.
Nope. The only thing consistently Brown that you're going to see is in the toilet, just like their football team, forever and ever and ever.
Do you think if they ever do get a good, rookie quarterback, he'll be there for a year and then he'll be traded to a better team?
No, because as soon as they find whoever this person is going to be, they will ride him out literally until he's dead.
Right.
Like he will have to die on the field before they pull him out of the
They're
game.
never going to get a good quarterback ever. I don't think that they're ever going to be good forever.
In the history of
and
the world.
ever.
Sorry.
And that's going to be the best thing.
Sorry, not happening.
No matter how bad the Bengals might be in the future, we can always look back and say the Cleveland Browns, albatross of every sports team in the world.
Wow.
They're never going to have anything good happen to them, and I'm so happy I'm not a fan of theirs.
That's great. I'm sure Brian's gonna love listening to this tomorrow.
I will say that I don't even hate the Browns nearly as much as some other teams in the league just because they are completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like Steelers, I hate way more.
Yeah.
I even hate, I wouldn't say the Ravens, just their division opponent, but like there's some other teams that I'm really not a big fan of. Like I'm not a big fan of Seattle. They kind of annoy me.
Fuck them.
I mean, I respect their defense, but they annoy me.
Nah.
So.
Nah.
Anyways,
So there we go.
Arizona.
Well-
I really hate Arizona mostly because of Carson Palmer.
Well, Carson Palmer's a
He
piece
is
of
the
shit.
worst and the most overrated, and Bruce Arians is an overrated coach.
Covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah,
Hot
that
takes.
so that wraps up our rundown. Do we move on to segments, or do we want to? Is there anything pressing on your mind that you want to get off your chest?
I think we covered the fact that I'm in second place.
Yeah, I think we
So-
mentioned that once or twice. Let's pop into the segments here. What's up first?
Yeah, we got some
Tony?
good ones this week.
Alright, it's gonna take. I gotta fix something.
Okay, Tony needs some time. So,
Guys, just shoot this shit.
oh
shoot it.
Jesus,
We're
let's
shooting it.
shoot some shit here, boys.
All right, so let's do a quick recap of what the segments are going to be. Maybe would that be a good idea?
Sure. Yeah. So Austin's bringing a new one. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. So my segment is going to be the 2018 bad quarterback draft class for this upcoming year.
Which I think is a great idea because you're our college football guy.
Thank you.
You know what you're talking about.
I either know it or I fake it till I make it.
Right.
So both strategies have worked well for me so far.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to deploy both of them.
We've still got your classic Who's That QB that rolls into Bad Week in QB history.
Who's that QB?
Which I think next week we'll break it up and I'll do a different Who's That QB just to go back to and maybe choose one that's not from history. So one that's currently playing, so we have a little better chance. Because Tony sends me these quarterback names and I don't watch football, so I don't know who the fuck these people are. But
Ready for
yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I was just waiting for Gator to finish. So.
Yeah.
All right. So the way that I did this was I ordered it from 1 to 10. It's my top 10 prospects as of yesterday.
From 1 to 10?
2 days ago.
We're gonna start with your best.
I mean, I could start from my worst, but that's going to ruin my whole power.
No. Okay,
So-
go ahead.
Oh,
You
wow,
just kind of.
now-
to go to the next.
Oh, wow. There's so much pressure. I have a mouse now.
You don't have to leave it on the table. You can just hold it.
All right.
Look at that nose.
So I definitely tried a quick format of the slides. The player name, obviously, at the top. Tried to find as goofy of a picture of them as possible.
Yeah, you did. You found a
Correct.
good one.
The fun fact in the middle, I spent a lot of time finding fun facts about these guys. And I pulled information, and I have a citation also at the end of the PowerPoint.
No, you don't.
I shit you not, I do, because
Jesus.
I didn't want to get cited for plagiarism from Walter Camp Football. Really reputable name.
This is really great.
In football. So, let me get my computer up to the same speed.
Cut off, by the way. I think it has something to do with that's my fault. It's cut off on the bug.
Can you fix it? I'm just if you can't fix it, it's probably fine.
Shit. What's
But
going
maybe
on
you
there?
could like try to fix it or something.
Can you just shrink
All
the
right.
text box?
I don't know.
Nope, that didn't really work.
Well, I can just read off the snapshots if it's easier.
Yeah, that's not working. You're gonna have to shrink the text, Tony.
Also, all of
Do it for every slide.
Yeah.
also, just an FYI, I did have colors on all my slides too. So your whole formatting of my PowerPoint, I'm really disappointed in your PowerPoint situation. Anyways, Josh Rosen, #1 QB prospect for this year. While Tony's figuring this out, you guys have probably read the entire slide by now. Anyways,
Pull up. Okay, you got it. Okay.
I do have it on mine. And so he goes to UCLA right now. He is definitely, like I said, #1 quarterback prospect coming out of college, 6'4", 210. Fun fact that I found out about him: his first sport was tennis. He was a top 10 junior.
He looks
player.
like a tennis player.
He look at his nose.
Look at that damn nose.
It is a honker. He is also the same guy that got in a lot of trouble at the beginning of the preseason because he said something to the effect of, it doesn't make any sense for college athletes to also have to take full-time class schedules because they're not there. Like, they're there for their football abilities, not for their academic prowess. And he goes to UCLA, which is one of the most prestigious universities in the entire country.
Wow.
So there was like a big thing. His
It
coach,
sounds like something an OSU player said once.
LOL. So obviously he makes some good points about these things. We'll move on from that, but he's sort of controversial because of that, I guess. So the snapshot. So on the year, Rosen's completed 64% of his passes, a little over 2,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 picks. Ooh. Keep in mind this is through about 6 games, so you can kind of do the math on that. He's been lucky on a few, more than a few of his passes, and he's lucky that they didn't turn into a lot more interceptions. He should have a lot more than 8. He should probably have about 11 or 12 picks this year.
Damn, through 6 games.
Yeah, he's a real gunslinger. They don't really run the ball too much.
And
at
he's the
UCLA. Top dog. He's like your prototypical next Aaron Rodgers type, thing. So we'll see. He has the best, quarterback mechanics in terms of being smart in knowing the game. He's really talented, has serious arm talent. His pocket presence is tops in the.
Is he projected to go #1 overall?
Him and one of my other guys who I personally have a little bit lower on my ranking list than some of these other some of the guys that like ESPN, for example, would have ranked. But yeah, him and then one of my other guys are essentially fighting to be the top pick. Right?
So you think this guy's going to be good, or good in our standards?
For in our league, he's going to be good for the first year or two. He's in the league, and then it's really going to see what situation he gets put in. I really think that all these guys are talented coming out of school, but if they get put into a bad situation, it's really, really yes.
There we go. Nice job,
there
Tony.
It is.
Nice,
Good.
Tony.
Tony,
1-2, baby.
again, Tony, great job. So Josh Rosen definitely deserves to be talked about in terms of the #1 overall player, especially at being at quarterback, most important position on the field other than offensive line, obviously.
So this could be the Cleveland Browns' next quarterback.
Could be the Browns, could be the Jets.
The Niners, 0-6.
The Niners. There are some teams out there that this is going to be the guy moving forward.
Okay.
So we'll have to definitely pay attention to him.
Browns 0-6. We got the Niners are 0-6. The Giants are 1-5. All of these places need quarterbacks.
Giants will be looking to replace Eli Manning in the draft this year.
So
I'm not sure you heard it here first, but that is definitely something that will be happening.
Okay.
So Josh Rosen is fighting with this next guy, Sam Darnold, for essentially
Dick Hammer.
the top. Honestly,
Holy shit.
This is super interesting. So he goes to USC. So
They're playing
right across the street there
Notre Dame tonight
in Los Angeles. Yeah, they're on right now playing Notre Dame, getting whooped. By the way, it was 21-0 last time I checked, and USC was losing. He is by far the most overrated quarterback prospect in this next draft class. The only reason I have him here on my slide is to mention this fact that this is where everybody else has him ranked, and I want to right here acknowledge he will be a draft bust. He will be a terrible pick. Whatever franchise gets him will be making a huge mistake.
Wow.
And he is going to be one of the best players in the bad QB league next year.
So week 1, 2018,
Sam Darnold.
Austin's taking Sam Darnold.
Wow, bag it, tag it, man. That's a big statement.
So
Even if Sully picks Austin last again,
even if still doesn't even matter, I'll trade my pick somehow. We'll figure out how to maneuver this. But
that's a good idea right there. I like the idea of us being able to trade picks for personal favors or whatever. I think I love it.
I don't know. We can bring it up to the commission at a later date. Don't want to get too sidetracked. 6'4", 225. He's got all the tools. He played really well in the second half of the year last year against some squishy competition, as Aaron would say.
Squishy.
So his grandfather is Dick Hammer, who was an Olympic athlete.
Dick Hammer.
Dick Hammer has to be a drink.
A drink for that hammer.
First of all, it's a legendary name.
That is the best name I've ever heard.
Sounds like a wrestler.
Top 3. His Dick Hammer, also an actor, and he was most famous for being one of the original Marlboro Men.
What kind of actor was he? Was he a adult film actor?
So he was most famous for being one of the original Marlboro Men. So I just said that.
Is that an acting gig or like a magazine spot?
Yeah. So if you do like TV commercials, you're still an actor.
What? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
This is your segment, Austin. You keep going.
It is. Don't derail me. Also, this picture really geeks me out of his face.
He's got a baby
He's
face.
so confused about what's going on right now. Whatever is happening, he's so confused.
It looks like the those guys in Super Mario, the big block guys who slam down on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what his head shape. It's very.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a square. It's a straight square.
Blockhead.
All right. So, in 2017, again, this is roughly through about 6 games or so. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he can come back. And honestly, he might come back next year. But a lot of people are projecting him to go because he might be one of the top QBs taken in the first round. So that money might talk for him.
Mm-hmm.
Redshirt sophomore completed 63% of his passes, little over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. The number one thing is that he needs to improve his decision making and his confidence. He actually admitted that his confidence has been an issue for him this year, especially after a couple of the losses. And some scouts are saying that he might, saying kind of what I'm saying. Either it's okay, it's just a confidence issue, or this guy's going to be a huge bust.
Right. So
we'll see what happens. He's definitely not one of the can't-miss prospects. Like everybody's talking him to be, like Deshaun Watson, for example. So, this guy right here, definitely keep your eye on him.
Piece of
for
trash.
next year.
Garbage. That looks
Lamar
like a
Jackson,
mugshot, man.
Again, a great, amazing picture of him. By the way, all I did was a Google search of their names, and these were like some of the first pictures that came up.
Right.
So these are just amazing. Goes to Louisville, 6'3", 205. I think a really good fun fact, I was listening to like one of those like stupid little interviews they were doing before the season. His favorite hero is Superman.
Which is the worst pick for superheroes.
Hold on, stop. This is the best pick for him because he can do everything. He can run for 200 yards. He can throw for 400 yards. He'll throw for 6 touchdown passes. I mean, he will single-handedly put the team on his back and win the game.
So you like this guy then?
I love Lamar Jackson. I do think he plays in a bad system at Louisville in terms of translating to the NFL. So I do think that will be a problem for him. But I think he's talented enough, and I think that he's smart enough, even though his face looks stupid as hell. He is a smart enough quarterback. He's a better version of Mike Vick. That's what people are saying. He won the Heisman last year. So
Gotcha.
On Louisville, I mean, they're a good program, but they're not a great program. So if you can win the Heisman at a program like Louisville, you have to be a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So far, again, won the Heisman last year as the best overall player in college football. So far this year, completed 60% of his passes, 2,300 yards, 16 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. 91 carries for 510 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns as well this year.
Wow.
In terms of his skill set, incredibly powerful arm, he can make throws on the run like Aaron Rodgers can make that nobody else can make. Tom Brady can't make these throws. Phil Rivers can't. Like, nobody can make these throws. This guy is that type of talent. He is really tough, but he's really, really skinny. It's like really.
I was gonna say 6'3",
really
205.
fragile. Yeah,
that's a light man right there.
I just really think that that's going to be one of the big things holding him back. Hopefully he doesn't get injured because this guy is an amazing talent. He's just as much fun, if not more fun, to watch than Mike Vick, which is like one of our favorite players growing up.
Big shoes to fill right there.
Huge shoes to fill. Literally, they're saying that he looks like a taller version of Mike Vick because he's 6'3". So we'll see. Hopefully for us and for our entertainment value, he does turn out to be this. He's going to be maybe late first, early second round pick type of deal. He might, depending on how the end of the year finishes, he might move up, but I don't think he'll be like the first quarterback taken. I definitely think he'll be more of like a round 2 type of guy.
So not a bad quarterback in our league necessarily.
No, he's going to get a chance to play. He's too talented not to.
So I want to go back and just say that Superman is the worst superhero. He's the worst.
No.
He's so boring. It's I wish that was on camera. I wish we could see that.
Honestly, Superman is a Superman.
Yeah, it's boring. Oh, he can do everything.
Yeah.
Except for one little thing.
Except rocks are bad.
Little green rocks. Hates those green rocks.
I'm not big. I don't like know all these things. Yeah, I like don't know.
Dude, coming at you.
See, that was my wheelhouse. All
right, cool. We're talking about like quarterbacks and shit, but that's fine. Lamar Jackson, he's gonna be a dangerous. He'll be a really risky pick next year. We'll see. He's a guy that might get some of those 40-yard runs and really kill you. Like more so than Deshaun Watson. Like scarier than that. So we'll see.
Okay. What we got next?
Didn't work. Josh Allen.
Look at that.
This little weasel-looking
Greasy
motherfucker. Sorry, I shouldn't use that language.
No, fuck it.
So Josh Allen, he goes to Wyoming, which is obviously not even a Division I team.
Looks like he goes to Wyoming High School.
Yes, that's exactly right. Actually, he actually is currently in high school. 6'5", 222 though, real big guy, nice frame. Fun fact: didn't receive a single Division I scholarship offer. He's being talked about getting taken in the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks. He is really good so far this season. The problem is that his team is not good at all. So he's only completed 58% of his passes for about 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 picks. I think he's only played like 4 games though, so he's played definitely less games.
He's played 4 games in college
this year.
Oh.
All the other guys have played like 6 games. He's played a couple less games this year. That's why his stats are a little lower. He's definitely going to be a high pick, but he's going to be a work in progress. He might not be a guy that ever shows up on the radar next year because he might not play. He might be a guy, hopefully not like Paxton Lynch, but definitely takes a year, is practice squad type of guy, 3rd string quarterback, learns NFL offense, and then take it from there and see what he can do. He's definitely talented. Plays in Wyoming. We'll see how that translates to the NFL.
Right.
For this
Fucking
guy.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. And, of course, I used the picture of him stabbing the flag in the OSU field. I wasn't going to not do that with all these OSU fans in our league. That is me purposely instigating you.
Yeah, it's working.
Obviously goes to Oklahoma. He's listed at 6'2". There's no chance he's actually 6'2". He's more like 6 foot. 215. So he has a super interesting story if you guys don't know the backstory. Walk on at Texas Tech. After the first year, they promised him a scholarship, and they didn't give it to him. They lied.
Fuckers.
And so he transferred to Oklahoma, and that first year he transferred there, won the starting job at Oklahoma. Obviously, the rest has been written. Playoffs, Heisman contender, one of the top quarterbacks in entire college.
I bet Texas Tech really hates themselves now.
Yeah, Texas Tech, irrelevant.
No doubt.
Yeah. So Texas Tech has had a lot of problems over the years keeping quarterbacks. They've had a lot of really good quarterbacks that have come and gone through there. So he has completed 73% of his passes so far this year. 1,900 yards, 17 touchdowns, 1 interception this entire year. I will say he plays in the Big 12. Big 12 defense is totally suspect. their non-conference schedule, other than Ohio State, was weak. He's definitely undersized for the NFL. Average arm strength, not going to be super impressive in terms of like the combine numbers, right? Obviously, he's got good speed. He definitely gets happy feet, and he has trouble reading the defense sometimes after his first read. Could be a problem in the NFL. Could be a really good pick next year if he gets playing time. Not sure that he will.
What year is he?
I believe he's either a redshirt junior or a senior.
If you had to guess, what would his favorite color be?
Whatever that is, like crimson, whatever Oklahoma color is.
All right.
Why?
He knows everything about these guys.
So, yeah. Anyways, Baker Mayfield, love him in college. I really see him turning out not like Johnny Manziel off the field, but in terms of like on field, I'm not sure how successful he's going to be. I hope he is because he's fun to watch. I just don't know. So it's that Johnny Manziel thing kind of put a damper on some of these similar style quarterbacks. It's really tough to kind of project them.
Right.
All right. Mason Rudolph, college, Oklahoma State.
Rudolph.
This was the guy who I couldn't find a good picture of, and I was really pissed about it.
Yeah.
And the fun fact is not really that good of a fun fact. It's okay. 6'5", 235, big dude. His fun fact is he met the Backstreet Boys while he was on a trip to Israel a couple years ago, and he is a huge Backstreet Boys fan. So that is the fun fact.
That is fun.
Good for him.
He has a lot of pictures on Facebook and Instagram of him with the Backstreet Boys. He's a big fan. So it's kind of an interesting cat for sure. Another fun fact, him and Baker Mayfield really good friends off the field, and it's funny.
For sure.
Yes, for sure.
Good call, producer. Young Tony.
It is funny that because they go to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, obviously huge rivalry, the Bedlam, big-time rivalry, so kind of funny that they're friends off the field too. Completed 67% of his passes, 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 picks. Really good touchdown-interception ratio. Again, Big 12 defenses are terrible. He's really good. He's going to definitely need to develop more to be a good pro, though. I think that this draft class overall is being overhyped in general.
That's what I've heard.
People are saying there's so many good college quarterbacks, and they're good college quarterbacks because they're playing in these systems. When they get to the league, it's a lot different. So he's definitely going to have to work on anticipating throws, his accuracy while working under center because they're all shotgun type deal. So he's athletic. He's got good arm strength. Smart guy, but totally up in the air. Not sure he's going to get a lot of playing time, but he'll definitely be drafted in the middle of the draft. Oh no, my picture of fault.
This is how deep cut he is.
This is such a good picture too, and I'm really sad that it's not there. Yeah, it's the real.
Tony
it looks like Jay Cutler, honestly, which is why I picked the picture.
Tony will take care of it.
Tony's gonna get us taken care of. So he goes to Washington State, kind of random. 6'4", 205. He was a walk-on when he first came to. There it is. Great picture. Great picture. Jay Cutler 2.0.
6'4", 205.
Yeah, tall. Dude,
twig, man.
Real skinny. He was a walk-on at first, and he worked in the catering department for the athletic department.
He obviously didn't eat much there. Jesus.
Literally not. No, but he literally had to pay his way to figure everything out. He tried out for the team, made the team, and now he's in being talked about as a possible NFL draft pick. Pretty cool story. He looks like a total douche. I don't know if he is or not, but he just looks like Jay Cutler, and that has to be bad for him.
Good for us.
Am I wrong?
That's
good for us. Bad for him. Am I right? Okay. 71% completion percentage, 2,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks. NFL teams are really intrigued by him because a lot of players don't come out of Washington State, and he's making his team look really good so far this year. But they're wondering if he's just a product of the system type of deal, what we've been talking about. So good pocket passer, but definitely a guy that's not going to be a starter right away in the league. He could if somebody gets hurt, obviously, but he's a guy that a couple years down the road, his name might surface, and you'll be like, where did he go to school? He went to Washington State. Okay, now Tony's got me. Thanks, Tony.
Look at that picture.
This dude literally looks like
MGK.
I don't want to be mean.
It kind of looks like MGK.
This dude looks. This picture is honestly the number one worst picture. There are way more flattering pictures of him that I obviously did not want to pick for this. So this is the literal worst picture I could find, and it was amazing.
The only thing I can see this guy running is running from the cops.
That's a fact. And like maybe like meth dealers and things like that. Texas Tech quarterback. Speaking of Texas Tech, 6'3", 205, kind of small. He used to run his own furniture restoration business in high school, which is like really
crazy.
Weird and interesting.
Yeah.
He is the replacement for Pat Mahomes, who was the top 10 pick for the Chiefs, who was sitting waiting for Alex Smith to fuck up and so he can go in the game.
Not happening thus far.
Not happening at all. But Mahomes is like uber talented. They literally think that guy's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see if that turns out. But this is his replacement. So he definitely has good arm talent. 70% of his passes, 2,100 yards, 18 TDs, 4 picks. But again, it's all against terrible teams in the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is a terrible conference.
Poopy doopy.
Poopy doopy.
Couldn't agree more.
So, yeah, Nick Shimonik. Also, I feel like there could be some really good nicknames for him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, at this point, I don't know if these guys are guys that are going to make it in the league, but you got to do a top 10 list. He makes the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. I said
for
sure.
sure.
I said for sure. Wow.
For sure.
Gator said it.
Producer. For sure.
All right, this idiot looks
That sounds
so
like
dumb.
That's a girl's name.
Riley Ferguson, definitely a girl's name. Also, he looks, it actually is a porn star. No, so he literally looks stoned in this picture, and that's definitely why I chose it. Totally looks caught off guard. It looks like it's almost from like the middle of a video clip, which is awesome. 6'4", 210 pounds. He transferred from Tennessee, which is funny that he went to Memphis. Father proceeded to call the environment in Knoxville, Tennessee, a dumpster fire.
You spelled Knoxville wrong. You're
I
dumb.
just noticed that.
You're Congsville.
Honestly, I thought that I did a really good job when I saw that, and I'm rattled right now.
You know what? You're doing a great job of making the text the same color as their school. Big fan of that.
Thank you. I tried really hard on that, too. Guys, this PowerPoint presentation took me a while to do.
It's dope.
So, pretty funny. This guy honestly seems like a spoiled brat to me, and I hope he fails. He looks like an asshole. His dad seems like an asshole. He literally wasn't good enough to play
Kind of
Tennessee.
a LeVar Ball situation.
But at least Lonzo Ball's good.
Yeah.
So, him, not so much. He's completed 59% of his passes for 1,800 yards, 19 TDs, and 5 picks. He needs to fill out his frame. He definitely can throw the ball really far. But Jamarcus Russell could also throw the ball really far. So, we all know where that turned out. And he plays for Memphis.
I mean,
all these guys
lots of people can throw the ball really far.
Yeah, exactly.
All these guys have small frames. Is that normal for college quarterbacks to come out that small?
That's why guys like Mason Rudolph, who is looking at 6'5", 235. That's why somebody like him, who definitely has some things that he has to work on, he's the guy that's going to get picked because he's got the size, he's got the intangibles, he's going to measure well at the combine. A lot of these guys are not going to measure well in terms of the weight at the combine. Good height, just really skinny.
So, like, I saw a clip of Aaron Rodgers when he was at Cal, and he was tiny.
Aaron Rodgers was,
and now he's big. So
that's the thing, man. Like, these NFL weight programs are a next level type of deal with these guys. Like, transforming, like from high school to college, it's a total transformation of your body. But from college to the pros is just as big of a transformation. That one's almost more noticeable just because you're like literally not even a human being at some point. So he's probably not going to make it in the league. And like I said, I hope he fails. So,
What are we at now?
That was number 9.
Okay.
This is number 10. This is a guy who this picture is hilarious. His face is awesome in this picture.
Talk about skinny.
Way skinny. He's a little shorter too. He's from Washington. Jake Browning, 6'2", 205. He led the Washington Huskies to the playoffs last year. Washington is not historically a powerhouse team, and he kind of put the team on his back last year. High school threw 229 career touchdown passes. Had 1 year where he threw 91 touchdown
my
passes
God.
in the same effing year, dude. And that
That's crazy.
High school national records, like
7 a game.
not even fair.
That's
No,
crazy.
dude. In high school, you play like 10 games,
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
like
7 would be a conservative
like
estimate.
9 touchdowns a game.
Oh my God. The high school didn't put in their
Wow.
second string.
Well, no, I mean, what I would say is that I bet you that includes playoff games.
Right.
And so I don't know how many. He was from California. I have
And
no
he
idea.
was playing in the blind league or something like.
No, the number 1 league in California, like
Holy
the top league in
shit.
California.
Okay, well
And this guy's ranked number 10?
So it's funny because this year he hasn't had as good of a year, and he doesn't measure well like some of the other guys. He's
Right.
total pocket passer. He's only 6'2", 205. Doesn't really run the ball. Definitely needs a good offensive line in front of him. Otherwise, he's screwed.
But the NFL, from what I've seen and heard commentators talk about, is they kind of look for those pocket passers that aren't necessarily like OSU guys run the ball a
This
lot.
guy, that's why I think this guy's got a chance. On this website that I got a lot of the just like this height, weight type stuff from, in like a lot of these snapshot things, they had him ranked around 16th or 17th overall. There were some other quarterbacks that were rated a little bit higher. I'm not
I
as
noticed you
high
didn't
on.
see JT Barrett on there.
Yeah,
You know,
because he's terrible, bro. He's not even worth mentioning. So I honestly did think about putting him on this list, but I don't think that he's worth
think
mentioning.
they'll-
With these other guys, I don't think he's
he'll,
worth
he'll do just what every other OSU quarterback does and become a wide receiver and then make it into the.
I don't think he's that
No, I'm
type of
kidding.
guy. I think what happens is he ends up playing football in Canada,
Yeah,
which is totally cool. You can make a lot of money there,
Yeah.
but you're in Canada, so Canada's
Wow.
tight, by the way.
they play duck, duck, gray duck. So
Yeah. So really fast, 69% completion percentage. Shout out
shout out.
Shout out to Gronk.
to Gronk. 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. Good college player. Might be too short to play in the pros. He did have shoulder surgery after the 2016 season. Another thing that bumps him down this list.
Yeah.
Arm strength not quite where it was when he was even in high school. He's an interesting guy. I feel like he's going to make it on a roster. Not sure if he's going to be a starter, but he's a guy who might make it as a second or third guy. He'll be on someone's practice squad next year, and then someone's going to get hurt, and he's going to get an opportunity to play a little bit, I think. So he's a guy to watch out for. A random guy that his name might pop in like week 8 next year, just random, kind of like who the hell is Jake Browning. This guy might pop in there as a injury replacement type of guy.
What a segment.
Here's my citation.
Move on to this.
Also,
citation.
shout out to Google.com for those pictures.
Shout out. Oh no.
Shout
Gotta
out,
pop another
man.
beer for that.
Shout out.
Shout out, producer.
That's great. Austin, I appreciate the amount of effort you put into this segment. It was a lot of information, and I liked it though. It was
Well done.
It's stuff
Well
I'm gonna.
done.
You guys are gonna have this forever.
You know,
And
yeah.
we
When
can
I
run back the tape.
see these
Well
guys
done.
next year, I'm gonna be like, hey, Austin told me about this guy, and that big nosed Josh Rosen.
Yeah. So the PowerPoint. If you want the PowerPoint, I'm selling it.
Kuiper, you listening, McShay? You
Yeah.
got it?
If you guys need this, you let me know.
Oh boy. All right.
Okay, let's move on to the tried and true. Who's that quarterback?
Man.
So we're gonna give you guys some time to make some guesses. We have no viewers tonight, so it's just you guys playing.
Classic.
So take a look at this figure. Tell me what you're thinking when you
I'm
see
thinking
this.
Tony Romo right off the bat.
Okay. Austin says Tony Romo.
He's got a tall head. It looks
Big
like
old tall head.
Big old
something
tall
on the
head.
top. It looks like just a little bit of something on the top. Looks like a floppy haircut. Like it could be curls, maybe.
Okay.
So nothing that's gonna be like afro, or it's not a bald guy. It's not like it's a Matt Hasselbeck or anything like that. It's gotta have some sort of curl to it.
I like this
mean-
analysis a lot. This is good.
Man, that picture's really tough. It's such a generic picture.
Yeah.
Like Dalton has like
So the hard part about
Who
this.
has a part in their hair like that, like this?
Ooh, that's good. Good call.
So the hard part about finding these pictures is, one, I'm trying to do the same thing you did and find an embarrassing picture.
You have to.
And two, every picture I find is them in uniform, and they all just look the same if I pick one in uniform. So I have to pick one where they're not in uniform.
Phew,
I
man.
like a man in uniform.
So Aaron,
Oh,
give us a guess. Any old guess.
man. Mark Brunell.
Okay.
Does he have hair? Doesn't matter.
All right. First clue. He played 18
okay.
seasons.
Hasn't ruled Brunell out, I don't think.
No, that definitely doesn't rule him out. That definitely rules out Tony Romo, though. I think.
Yeah.
18 seasons.
That's a lot of teams. What are some of the best journeyman like quarterbacks that have been around the block a couple times?
Oh my God.
Like
John Kitna.
Kitna, he's bald.
This couldn't be John Kitna because
Kelly Holcomb, who?
Oh my God. Kelly Holcomb. It's amazing.
You guys are a lot better at this than I have no idea who these. I know who Kid is, but
these people are the most random. Like you were like, Austin, who are the most random people in the whole world? These are the people.
Jake Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme. Ooh.
Daylight come.
Wow.
Oh man.
all right, let's hit with the second clue. That was a good
Hit us with another one.
4-time Pro Bowler and 1-time MVP.
MVP, huh?
1-time MVP.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
That's a great guess.
That is a good guess.
That's a really good guess.
And I'm sticking
because he
with
did
it.
play 18. Although he played a lot in the CF. That's right, the Arena League. Former MVP to Kurt. He might have won the MVP that
I have
couple
no
years.
idea, but it sounds right.
Wow. I don't.
He played until he was like 40 something. So who knows?
All right, Aaron, throw a guess. You haven't said anyone new. Throw one more out there, and then we'll move on to the third clue.
Oh man. Brett Favre. Although he's been more than 4-time Pro Bowler, I think.
Definitely.
All right, third clue.
He
became a commentator. And I'll give you a little
Dan
hint.
Fouts.
That's what he's doing in this picture. He's
Oh, he's talking.
in this picture.
Dan Fouts might be it. But I'm still sticking with Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner also became a football talking head. So I'm gonna stick with that.
Hold on now. Dan Fouts.
Does Dan Fouts still have hair in the middle of his head? I don't think so.
So Tony, before we reveal, you take over this seat and you can take the segment from there.
Okay.
Don't go quite yet. I'm still trying to think a little bit. Oh man. Spyro.
Spyro the Dragon?
Spiro.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Dan Fouts for the San Diego Chargers. Because he was good. He was really good back in the
First
day.
of all, can we welcome Anthony DiLatel to the podcast? Everybody,
team.
ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
how you doing, bud?
Happy to be here. It's weird sitting on this
Good
side of
seeing
the
you.
table. I will say that much.
Commentator. Dan Marino?
Before
Dan Marino?
Another good guess. Another good guess.
Dan Marino was a commentator, yeah?
Yo, that's Dan Marino's hair for sure.
I think that's Dan Marino.
So Aaron says Dan Marino. I don't think
It's
we're
a Dan. It's a Dan Fouts or Marino.
Give me a couple more seconds here to stall. Yeah,
I see coupons in my future.
You can hit the right arrow on the keyboard. Rich Gannon, everybody.
Oh, Rich Gannon.
He
Look
was
at
the
this dumbass.
MVP?
Believe it or not.
Oh my
What
God.
is hilarious about that?
Wow.
Fun fact about Rich Gannon. You want to hear a fun fact about him since we just did a whole segment of fun facts?
Sure.
Rich Gannon is a fraternity brother of mine.
Is that right?
Yep, he's a Sig Ep from Fresno State.
Man, that would have been a great clue.
Wow.
That would have been a great number 3 clue.
Wow, what a great one.
Yeah, Rich Gannon. I wanted to try to pick a guy who wasn't someone who you would necessarily think. A lot of the guys who we've had before have been just terrible throughout their whole career. But for this particular week,
Jose Altuve home run.
wow, how about that? Altuve.
Sorry for interjecting.
He's tearing it up.
Such a good picture.
He
It's
looks like
amazing.
such a doofus.
This is like one where somebody paused their DVR and was like, which is me. Oh,
Gator,
Penn State's quarterback. Oh, that was hype. Trace McSorley just said, "Fuck what you heard, Michigan. It's what you hearing. Listen."
Oh. We
I don't
got
know what Tony's doing, but
Can we talk about
blocking the camera.
Can we talk about real quick on the record? Well, now you're back, but
I'm back.
okay.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Gus Farrat. Now that we're on the air,
Yeah.
that was
One of the best. I mean, unreal.
I
Just
couldn't believe
absolutely
it.
insane guess.
I wish Austin and I normally watch the podcast on Thursday nights together.
We do actually.
And
It's a
last
main
week was the
bonding
first time we didn't, and I was really upset that he wasn't there because I wanted to be with him while I guessed Gus Farrat before I even got the second clue.
Honestly, I would
Right after the second clue.
spontaneously combusted if I was in the room when you did that.
I couldn't believe it.
Not even-
I was floored.
I still need
Floored.
coupons from Gator. I'm holding him to it.
Floored and shocked.
Well, he has to get them from Tammy, so.
Well, I need him. All right, Rich Gannon.
All right, next slide, please. Okay, so he was a
Tough game for Rich.
very difficult game for Rich Gannon. 19 for 41, 230, 5 interceptions, just 1 sack. So good job by the offensive line there. But in our league, he would have finished with 45 points in this particular game. No. Isn't that what it is in our league?
Listen, I don't even know.
I think it's 4
I think
because
it's
passing
4.
touchdowns are
Usually
4 and rushing touchdowns are 6.
I think it's 4.
Yeah. So yeah, Rich Gannon overall was a great. I mean, not a great quarterback, but a good, serviceable quarterback for most of his career.
4-time Pro Bowler and MVP.
I knew of Rich Gannon because I was sort of an Oakland Raiders fan in like the early 2000s, like in my early days of watching the NFL before, when the Bengals were terrible. So I liked Oakland the year that they went to the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay.
Is that where that photo's from?
I don't believe that's actually from the Super Bowl.
They eventually got beat in that Super Bowl.
They
if
did
I'm correct,
lose.
right?
They got absolutely destroyed actually by Tampa Bay, and I cried that night.
Oh man.
It was one of
Hey, you jerk! Don't laugh.
I
at
was
that.
like 10,
Hold
dude.
on. Literally, what is different from that night than any other night?
Right, you're right. Most of the time, I cry myself to sleep. So you're
God.
that's true. But I will say that that was one of the. That's what started John sort of growing up and being contrarian to the teams that I liked. John was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, just so happened. I also liked Ohio State, and it turned out John was a Michigan fan. So this is kind of what
I've
started.
called your brother out for this so many times.
Yeah.
Fake ass, Walmart Wolverine ass. Get out of here.
Walmart Wolverine. I love it.
Yeah, he didn't even go to Michigan.
Yeah, so that was something I also had to deal with.
I'm
growing-
really sorry that you
that
had
was
to deal with
insult
that
to
in your own
injury.
family.
When I wanted the
Must be
Raiders to
tough.
win so bad. I did actually was a big Raiders fan though because Bo Jackson was my favorite athlete.
The Raiders.
And so I was into the Raiders. But yeah, Rich Gannon, even though he really came out of his shell and became a very successful quarterback much later in his career. Actually, he was drafted by Minnesota, and then he spent a year in Washington, then went to Kansas City for 4 years, and then when he went to Oakland, that's when he really started becoming successful. He had his first 3,000-yard season in Oakland at age 34.
Wow.
So he basically had like 4 straight years of a lot of success in Oakland after having like a 10-year career of just kind of moderate success, and he was even a backup for some of that time. So it was sort of an interesting career. Played till he was 39, then became a commentator.
So you could see a guy like Case Keenum, for example. Maybe he's due for a Rich Gannon breakout at some point here
No
soon, right?
chance.
When he turns 33, 34.
You never know.
Yeah.
I
That
do
Super
know,
Bowl,
and it's a no chance.
he got beat by another current commentator, right? Super Bowl MVP. If I had a photo of him, I'd put him up there. But anybody know who that is?
Oh, he was number 8.
He was a Super Bowl MVP, kind of a
Played for Tampa?
Tampa Bay.
Jeff Blake.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Jeff Blake.
I don't know. Who is it?
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer was on the Bucs.
No, that's not right.
No,
he won the
Trent
he won the
Dilfer-
Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Am I thinking of Brad Johnson?
It is Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson.
Got him. Got him.
He didn't even know. He's like, do you guys know
Got
who
him.
it is? Do you know who it is? No.
You're right. Okay. Dilfer played for the Ravens.
Well,
Ravens, Raiders. Yeah.
Trent Dilfer might be a really good. Who is this one?
that one
later
might
on
be
in the
one
year.
later. Yeah, one of the worst Super Bowl winning quarterbacks of all
Stupid.
time.
The worst?
Probably the worst.
I can't remember the worst one.
Until Dalton wins it this year.
Another fun fact: Dexter Jackson was the MVP of that Super Bowl, who eventually went on to play for the Bengals.
Dexter Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Who's
But
he?
how many points did you score this week, Austin? 46.
44.
So like,
something.
you know, in the annals of time, last week could be a
Kevin Hogan.
lift your
is
glass,
Rich
a legendary week for Austin. You know.
Yeah, like, you know, when they're doing
Lucky
these
week.
podcasts 50 years from now, when we're all dead, because apparently we'll be dead in
50 years. Jeez.
Yeah, hopefully not, but I mean, that was what I said, so we're going to stick with it.
Yeah, if we continue this
hard.
lifestyle.
Yes. Happy Saturday night. This is the alcohol fueled podcast.
They're gonna remember my Kevin Hogan pick as the next Rich Gannon, but not in a good way, in a terrible way.
Wow.
I mean, hard to argue with that.
Well, that was another great installment of Name the Quarterback, and a tremendous guest segment from Austin.
Thank you.
I fucking love this league. I fucking love
Click
it.
on
That's
main.
great.
Bottom left. Click on main.
Yeah, click on main, Brett.
Well, you're on the wrong monitor, so go to the left. And then click on main. Boom. There you go.
Boom. Okay.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Well, anybody else have anything else you want to chat about, or?
I will.
I do. Tony, go ahead.
I will say it's been interesting being sort of off camera for this episode. I kind of enjoyed it. It's kind of nice to hear in real time it all come together, and it was a good time. Glad you guys came over.
It was fun.
You and I don't want you to take this the wrong way in
God.
any way, because I
That's the
think
wrong way.
you're a remark. I love you as an on-screen talent, and I
Thank
would
you.
never want to push you out of that role.
Thank
But
you.
maybe you're better off screen.
But you feel you're a producer. You're a great producer. You know what I mean?
Thank you, yes.
Like you thrive in the instances when
Yeah.
when we needed a PowerPoint structured on the
Yeah,
spot
yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Nobody else could do that on the
did
spot except for T
I
Dog.
appreciate
So
that.
T-Dog.
Well, you know, I've been producing for Aaron for a long time, going back to the WWE DVD
That's
news
right.
days. So
ooh, that's some
Aaron
good clips there.
Aaron knows how professional I am in the workplace,
And
that's
patient.
that's what I try to bring to the table.
So this was cool, and like, yeah, you're fine. But here's the thing: we need to talk about this Steelers-Bengals game for just.
Okay.
You're right.
Good
We
call.
didn't do our
Just for
didn't do our weekly Bengals breakdown.
Just
Can you
for
hand me
like
on my
a
beer, by the way?
second,
Because I'm gonna
we
need it for
to
this
talk
one.
about this. Guys, how do we feel? It seems as though the Bengals might be trending up. The Steelers had a huge win in Kansas City last week. Those dirty
Yep,
sons of
yep.
bitches.
But you know what? I like that they won, because I've talked about this a lot of times. I don't like facing good teams off of losses.
Agreed.
Because
like
it's
the Patriots.
because a lot of good teams
like
do
the
not
Patriots.
right. They
We're on
don't.
to Cincinnati.
They,
Please
yeah,
don't be.
exactly.
Please don't be.
They don't lose multiple games in a row. When you're a good NFL team, you don't lose multiple games in a row. So it's kind of nice when they kind of pull out like a close game that took a lot of effort, because you know maybe they left it all out on the field, and you'll get
They pulled out and left it all out there.
exactly right.
So here we are.
So I don't know. They flexed it to 425 tomorrow.
Yeah, good move. I like it.
Great time. So everyone who can partake in the holiday festivities at 420 can,
That's true.
and then still catch the kickoff.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how I feel about it. I can't say I'm not optimistic,
Steelers
but I'm
are,
not.
I think, like 5.5.
I'm not
point
dreading
favorites.
it. Okay,
5.5
yeah, that's
point-
about right.
Pick against the spread. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers minus 5.5.
That's about right, I would say.
Pick
And-
against it.
Let
Putting you on the
me
spot, pick.
let me just say that
Don't say push. You can't score.
I
points.
will say that traditionally Marvin Lewis has been better in Pittsburgh against Pittsburgh than at home. So there's that to think about.
The bye week.
There's the bye week is also that goes basically maybe those two things cancel out,
They
right?
wash.
Because Marvin's bad off the bye week. But also you have to consider Big Ben has not been Big Ben this year. He's been a shell of his former self. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game. I think that it's going to be close, but I can't really say. I think that my Bengals homer self will say that the Bengals are going to pull this
Of
one out
course.
by a fat Randy field goal at the gun.
Ooh. Here's my little
So
thought.
you're taking Bengals against the spread and
23-20
23-20
Bengals.
Bengals. All right.
Here's my thought. The reason the Steelers scare me is because when they see the Cincinnati Bengals on their schedule, they know that this is such an important game to us That
Yeah.
they get up for it to spoil our day.
Yeah,
So like they get up
that's what
to
they
ruin
thrive
ours.
on. Yeah.
They get up to ruin our day. So whenever we go to their place, their thought is, it's the freaking Bengals. They suck. It's the way we look at the Browns. They're nothing. They're like, oh, the Bengals are coming to town. Granted, we're better than the Browns, but like they get up on getting us down. So getting, Pittsburgh's always a tough game. I think now, with all that said, I have a really good feeling about the game tomorrow. Coming off healthy, AJ got banged up a little bit last week. His ankle was a little bum. He had a huge game against Buffalo. He's going to have a big game. He's going to keep getting fed. Mixon's going to have a breakout game. I say Bengals 31-17 in a dramatic fashion. Pittsburgh, we're going to make a statement tomorrow. 3-3.
Wow.
That would be
This is
that'd be a
31-17.
turning point of the season.
This is the hot take part of the segment.
Yeah.
So
Man,
I'm taking
hope you're
Bengals
right.
31-17,
I
and
hope
I'm taking Blake Bortles to have a huge game. So those are my two calls.
I hope you're right about the first one. Here's the way I see it. The Bengals need it more than the Steelers do, and that's just a fact. We know that. We're not stupid. Marvin might be stupid. We're not, as a team, stupid.
True.
Spread is -5.5. I'm definitely taking the Bengals against the spread.
Woo!
I'm
Sweet.
not taking Bengals money line, which means I'm not taking them straight up.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. I'm not saying I don't think they can win. I'm saying I don't feel comfortable putting my money on them to just straight up win.
you think it's
in
going to
Pittsburgh.
be a close game?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be within 4 points either way. Touchdowns, field goals. Here's what I think ends up happening. Ultimate prediction. We get the ball with about 7 minutes left. We go down. We score a touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger gets the ball to go up maybe 4 points. 24-20.
Wow,
Roethlisberger.
this is detailed.
Roethlisberger gets the ball. He's driving down towards midfield. Airs one out deep to Antonio Brown. Interception.
Woo!
Bengals ice the game.
By
24-20.
your boy Darquez Denard.
My boy Darquez. My boy Darquez.
I love it.
Because Adam Jones is doubtful, so
Yeah,
maybe
my boy Quez.
Quez and William Jackson are going to
Quez
get
is
step
about to
up.
Step up.
If everything you said just happens, if everything you said happens, I'll buy you a 24-pack, man.
It's on tape. 24.
It's on
So-
wax.
Everything you said.
So we're all on the same page about the Bengals. That's awesome. Right, we're gonna go off the air here in a second, but I want just a one-word response from everybody in this room. Okay, a win or a lose. That's all you can say. There's nothing afterwards. Are the Browns gonna win this weekend? Or are they gonna win or lose?
Who do they play?
I was just about to ask that, but it doesn't matter. Lose.
I need to know who they
Say
play.
it.
No. I need to know who they play. Tell me who they
Some
play.
geek team.
Titans.
Loss.
Gator.
Lose.
Thank you guys for listening. We all picked the Bengals to win. We all picked the Browns to lose. This has been a fun one. Thank you for letting me come on, Austin.
Love you guys.
Yeah, Tony, Gator. You guys have
Signing
been
off.
great, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.